Today, the SEC chairman Gary Gensler was testifying for the first time since he's been appointed at the head of the U.S. top watchdog for the U.S. markets. Now, this is the first time he's kind of testifying, as I mentioned, before the Senate Banking Committee, and there were a lot of discussions. There were a lot of things that he talked about, but there were two major items that popped out of the discussion, out of the speech, and that I believe have a major implications when it comes to GameStop and AMC. So let's look exactly at what the heck am I talking about. So first of all, as you can read, Gensler zeroes in on Citadel Securities as SEC considers payment for order flow ban. This is an article that popped today, September 14th. Wall Street top cops said Tuesday that the dominance of Citadel Securities in the business of routing order flow may not be giving retail investors the best deal. This is what we know. And he's not the only person talking about this. The New York Stock Exchange president herself came out multiple months ago on mainstream media. It wasn't on social media, it was on mainstream media, and she said the retail orders are being rerouted and are not even hitting the lead markets, New York Stock Exchange, Nasdaq, whatever. And because of that, we may not be getting not only the best deals in terms of price, but also it's not in our favor because any major stocks that we just like or we just buy, either it's through our brokerage accounts, but also 401ks, pension funds, 529, IRAs. This is a huge problem. So, which is something really interesting about these guys is before even Gary Gensler started speaking about this was kind of out because you can go and have a preview of the footnotes in the SEC chair's prepared remarks, even prior to the meeting or prior to him, disclosing that information. So he said he's pro-competition, and he has always said that. But I'm not sure the payment for order flow system really is the best competitive landscape for this current market structure, just because we have a big concern around the volume going through Virtue and Citadel Securities when it comes to retail orders. That is a big concentration, and that is not good because, as we've seen with GameStop and AMC, they just removed the button, the buy button, and that caused a major pullback to what was supposed to be a never as seen short squeeze. But it's just a matter of time for that to resume. But back to this point. Well, the fact that this was revealed in the footnote and during the meeting, he didn't even mention Citadel. But when you read the notes, the footnotes, Citadel is mentioned by name. Citadel is mentioned there. So it means there is really something brewing behind the scenes. And so far, nobody knows exactly. I mean, people may think, oh, they won't do anything because it's just talk. And you have another camp saying, well, you just don't know, man. Whenever these guys are prepping or building a case, they stay silent. I mean, will you ever take the risk of tipping off whoever you want to investigate? No, of course no. So it's not different with the SEC. Now, the other major item here that I wanted to discuss is this. He also said, SEC will publish GameStop post-mortem shortly. He said that today as well. And this is pretty exciting because when we read the earnings transcript, okay, that was a 10Q filing from GameStop on the Q3 earnings, we actually saw that the SEC staff requested documents in regards to what happened in January with GameStop, but also with AMC. So it was also mentioned on that filing that they requested additional documents. So that was back in May, all right? That was back in May. So fast forward now, if Gary Gensler said today, like, man, the post-mortem publication on GameStop, and definitely AMC will be also included, will be disclosed shortly. Now, shortly, what does that mean? Does that mean tomorrow? Does that mean next week? Does that mean next month? I mean, it will be out shortly. The GAT said it itself. it will be out shortly. Now, this shortly might be, as I mentioned earlier, it might be on the very, very near future. So expect it to pop anytime soon from now on. And we just don't know what's going to be in that report. Maybe it's going to be a ruling. Okay, maybe there's going to be something about payment for order flow ban. Maybe it's going to be something about, I don't know. I'm just speculating in front of you here, guys. But the fact that he's testimonying before Senate, and this Senate, especially the Democrats, have been really vocal and pushing him to make sure there was something changed. There was something done about, and with an implication on fixing this actual issue with the market structure. And I shared with you a couple of months ago that the Democrats are moving ahead in having less than a dozen of rules to be voted and signed by the White House in order to make sure this whole problem is fixed. Because again, guys, it's not only apes fighting against hedge funds on AMC and GameStop just because they like the stock. No, it's bigger than that. This is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just the symbol or an example of all major issues in plural that have been happening so far since 2008 in the market. Okay, and I believe personally, if this is not fixed, we are also headed towards something even worse than what we saw back in 2008, just because what is happening here and being exposed through AMC and GameStop, it's way bigger than just apes. It affects more than just retail investors who are buying these stocks. It affects the whole retail investors who are actually a big giant gorilla into the marketplace in the US. So it's really the market's sake and the confidence into these markets that is really at stake here. And that's why I think either the Senate, either lawmakers, either White House, but definitely the SEC and all the other federal agencies like DTCC and SEC really are playing their fate here if they don't do anything to change this moving forward. So the thing is, it might not move as quick as we want it to move, but definitely, it seems like they're taking a serious, time to really look at this thing before making the big move. So we'll be here to watch exactly what happens, and let's see how it impacts AMC moving forward. But definitely this is bullish, and bullish.